What is here? It's Thursday morning, 1st of June, isn't it?
Welcome
it
to a
is.
new month, bro. I didn't realize it was a new month.
That's surprising. You of all people, calendar police.
Yesterday when I went to them, of course, because the 1st June didn't come around the weekend.
Yes, I guess it didn't come.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But today is Thursday. That starts Bryce's weekend.
Yes,
So actually, it's surprising.
The old order. I didn't know we are.
You know, yesterday when I
money.
went to his bench, he was editing a lot of stories. I'm sure.
I'm sure it's just clouded.
It's affected a lot of things. Yeah.
Anyway.
But guys, good morning to you, and we trust that you are healthy, happy, well, and excited that a new month is here with you. We're excited too that we have a new month.
Yes, of course. We'll join you in the excitement. It's a new month, a new beginning, and that means that whatever you lost, whatever you were not able to do in the last month, you put in more effort to get it done the month of June. So we are almost halfway through the year.
Exactly.
Yes.
What, 5 months? Six?
Yeah.
5.
Six. This would be our
This would be our sixth month.
So,
Yeah. And,
So halfway through. That's great. We're very soon hitting 2018, and I guess.
Right, not so quick. If somebody has a 2-year rent allowance and
it's catching up.
it's catching up, you'll not be so excited. You don't want the month to be going.
No, don't worry. You know, there's this song that I like so much. I've forgotten the guy who your landlord might be.
Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry, be happy.
Just don't worry.
Your landlord said your rent is late. You may have to
Ignore it.
litigate.
Ignore it.
Anyway, good morning to you.
Okay.
We do have, we've planned for a good day, and today being 1st June, it's the happiest month for me because the greatest person, or the person who lives so I can live, is his birthday is coming up. So I'm excited. I hope you are too. Yes.
Okay.
So who is this person?
Of course, my father. Who else could we be talking about?
We're just
Oh, guys.
Don't.
You see how their mind wanders.
Don't be deceived.
Okay.
You know, I have ladies all around me. My daughters.
Exactly.
And so when a lady says my father, it possibly can be not the biological father.
It could be a literal father.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so for clarification, my biological and only father.
Are you denying Mr. Right
No,
this
okay,
morning?
because
he didn't live so well. It's my father
because
who
we are on
came
her neck, she has decided
to tell. Yeah, it's okay.
But when a lady tells you that my father, you need to find out who that father is, whether it's a biological father
or
Listen,
another
I have two fathers,
Anyway.
biological and heavenly father.
Anyway,
That's it.
you don't have a spiritual father. Anyway, so we're going to be talking today on the show about how society's pressure is constantly mounted on women to get married. They say their biological clock is ticking and all of that. So we'll have that conversation here on Heart Bay on New Day today.
And we'll also touch on
married
international.
for every woman. Should every woman marry?
No, I don't think so.
Should every man marry?
I don't think so.
Yes, it depends.
I'm sure God made certain people.
And
to
you
be
see,
not,
a lot of people go around assuming
right.
that everybody should get married.
Yeah, I think so. There's so much effort and energy spent on getting married. I really don't see it. I guess people should be allowed to be free, stay out of marriage and be free. They will be better.
I don't think the way you're saying is stay out of marriage and be free. Like marriage is some prison. If it is for you, you would enjoy it. If you are with the right person at the right place at the right time, you should enjoy your marriage. So if God has not destined for you to marry, please don't.
But you know that there's never a perfect moment. Everything is not perfect.
Definitely.
Everything is not
perfect.
perfect.
God will give you the best
if you say
out of it.
the right place, the right time,
I didn't
the
say the
right
perfect.
person.
As for right, they can be right, but may not necessarily perfect. Like
so you have to look for that perfect person you're talking about.
That right person.
That right person.
I can't put perfect.
That person
once we are in sin, we
that
can't
person
be perfect,
may not be a Ghanaian. You may have to travel to Kenya or Zimbabwe or.
But, it's a global world. You may just meet in some market somewhere.
Well, if I have audience with God for a minute, I guess I'll tell God that He should allow mankind to live separately, man and woman to live away from each other.
And
So
how
that
would
you
you
can
procreate?
Well, if you think about procreation, then if you see a man you like her, the two of you come together, you agree, you
just
have
be
a
having
baby,
children
and
around.
then you, not necessarily, but you see Amma and you like her. You see, I'm saying this because, what I see in marriage, what we see in the media, women being acid bathed, men being beaten, and the kinds of things you hear when you talk to people about marriage. I guess that if we stay in our own areas and agree to come together when we are ready, have a baby, and we move on our own. I guess.
But even in that, if I decide to pour acid on you, I still, you understand? So it's the mentality of the individuals who come together.
Also, we'll have a conversation. Also coming up today on the show, we'll be talking about the compulsory French syllables in the secondary school. The president says it's going to be compulsory come next academic term. Are we ready? Is it? We'll be ranting about it.
Yes, and we'll also talk about today is International Day of Children and Global Day of Parents. So we'll touch on that as well. We'll celebrate the parents and also foster a good relationship between
Speaking of children and parents, I want to throw back into the day. I mean, which was your favorite marching song in school?
We are marching to our class.
You like that one, right?
Oh, okay. No, I didn't like the one that we did in the morning.
Okay.
I love the one that we did in the evening.
Okay. Okay. The closing assembly.
Yes. Now the day is over. Now it is drawing nigh. There you
I know
that.
the song, but we never marched in a closing.
Oh yeah, but for
why would you? But you've closed.
Yes. But for us, once the day is over and we have to go.
Right.
Once we start singing,
you celebrate and run away.
You park your desk. I had a favorite. Rich man envy the poor man.
Oh, I see.
And you find us at the back like that.
I know, and therefore, what's the sense in envying
your neighbor?
Your neighbor, yeah.
So it says, life in this world is a great struggle for both the young and old.
Okay.
And even those who have great riches have troubles of their own.
Look at the Teletubbies.
Okay.
I suspect you were doing the tune back in school.
No, I'm sure it will be Scott. Anyway, so let's do some headlines this morning. On Daily Heritage, we have Oforiatta summoned over 2.25 billion bond. Definitely, that's been a big issue since yesterday. They raised that on the floor of Parliament. Ringleader of Somenya riot accused of illegal connection. Ghanaians want Akufo-Addo to fight crime, IEA report. Service personnel angry with GCB Bank over delayed payment of allowance, bank allays fears. And also David Donto Amanziba ordered to open defense in 93,000 CD theft case. That's an interesting one.
That's a long-standing case.
It is.
Yes, indeed. But yesterday, the Speaker of Parliament gave the Finance Minister 1 week ultimatum. I don't know what's become of the invitation to trudge and the questions that were put to him. He was given 10 days to go. The 10 days have long elapsed.
I think he asked for extension
of that. Because currently he's out of the country, I understand.
Exactly. Yes. So, but here's the Speaker of Parliament on behalf of the people, giving them a 1 week ultimatum to come and respond to key questions. The minority leader put up the question yesterday. And
a half-hour motion, which apparently is the first in a while.
Exactly. I mean, he's a lawyer, so when he stands to make his address, they do that all the time in court.
I'm wondering, I guess that I think the finance ministry, the finance minister, and all those involved in this should find a way to put an end to this because it is not good for us. We're making effort to get investors into the country. Now, these are some of the things that will put them off. I mean, if an investor is coming in here and knows that a bond issued had issues with it and we're still battling, there is public discourse about it, Parliament is summoning the finance minister. I mean, if I'm a businessman, certainly when I'm coming to Ghana,
I'll think twice.
Right. So I guess, I don't know why the AG seem to be quiet about this whole thing. All we hear is that she has no knowledge of this.
She says she's not aware.
I thought she could quickly come in and save us all this. So that, because if we do this to ourselves, this is on international network, so don't forget. And investors will read and get to know. And when they come in, they'll be skeptical.
Right now, when people say they are not aware of a situation, and I get that a lot from people who work in the ministries and a certain minister, chief director, who's supposed to answer a certain question. So, I'm not aware, I will investigate. They think that when they say I'm not aware, it washes away the issue. I don't get it.
But for me, it rather raises questions about your position then. Because if this matter obviously is in your remit, then you should be aware.
Like the DCE for Dentra West who says he is not aware that the military is there, and yet he is the chairman of the district
security committee.
And I don't know why he's still at post anyway. Elsewhere, he would have stepped aside.
Definitely.
But considering the fact that
Well,
he's
it's
the
the president,
president's direct appointee and reports to the president, a representative of the president in the district, I don't think that the president, if he really wants us to believe that he's committed to, you know, cracking the whip in this Captain Mahama's matter, would allow the man to stay at post. Mr. President, good morning to you. The cry of the people is that the DC is not worth it because as part of his core mandate, he's supposed to be chairman of the district security committee. If he didn't know who was on his committee, he has no business being DC. Please, yank him off already.
Well,
Mr. President.
Let's see. There's a story in the Heritage that I've been listening to BBC about it. I find it very exciting, and I'm fuming in me because of what it means. We're told Kenya has opened a multi-billion-dollar rail network from Nairobi to Mombasa. That's beautiful. Now, the sour aspect of the story is this. The people who are, do we drive trains? Yes. The people who are driving trains are Chinese.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm telling you. The whole project was done by the Chinese. They provided about 90% of the funds to build that network, rail network.
Approximately $3.6 billion.
Now, the train drivers are Chinese. So the question is this. When the whole project took off, did it not occur to Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta and his men that let us send Kenyans to China to study how to move these trains so that when the project takes off, they can drive it? Because one of the key things is to give Kenyans jobs.
Right.
Now, Chinese are driving the trains. It is now that Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta and his men are training Kenyans to take over from the Chinese.
And that could take a whole year.
It could. I was so sad when I heard the story, and I said, I am sure his own father and Dr. Nkrumah and the rest of African leaders would be terribly angry in their grave. But that's a story in the Heritage.
A very sad story indeed. I mean, I don't know what to say about this, but I obviously it's a disappointment.
There's nothing wrong with Chinese driving
coming right
trains.
On the back of African Union Day. It's a great disappointment. Yesterday I heard an economist and an engineer as well. They were talking about if we put all the power that we have in Africa together, if we unionize the grid, we would have so much power in Africa that we would even sell some to make money. But then individually, we become so parochial, and yet every 25th May we celebrate African Union Day.
All right.
And take a holiday.
Yes, we've been talking about the eco for a long time. Travel to Togo, and you meet the gendarme. They will collect money every step of the way.
I see.
Anyway, moving on to the new independent. It says, sack Dentra was DC now. Kweku Baku tells Ekufuado. Parliament must join fight against Galamsey. That's coming from CDD. NPP condemns murder of Captain Mahama and commends military for exercising restraint. Then there's an insert of the late Captain Maxwell Mahama. It says, will not retaliate. Army chief assures Ghanaians over Captain Mahama's death. And also judgment debt looms as purchase of new presidential fleet hangs.
It takes a lot of control for you not to react, you know, in the issue of Captain Mahama. Because if you know how the military people are formed, I mean, they take action when action has to be taken. And on this occasion, they have been asked to slow down and hasten slowly, and they are doing. But Kweku Baku is rehashing my point. The man should go. The Upper Dentra, West DC, he should be gone like 3 days ago, Mr. President. 3 days ago. He has no business being there because he doesn't know what the job means. He doesn't know. District Security Council Chairman, you don't know the commander of the army in your detachment. What are you doing?
It's a shame.
Man.
We shouldn't even get to a place where we talk about it in the morning. Anyway, John, do you have anything for us?
I guess I do. Well, so here we have Dentra Chiefs declared June 4 Day of Pacification over murder of Captain Mahama. Interesting. Africans don't too much. And
so, what are we purifying?
Well, they are purifying.
It's pacification. Okay,
yes, sorry. Pacification. So the Dentra West Council. Let's read that, really. So where were they? You see, the question that I have always wanted to ask, and Gentry Obuasi has been on the lips of all in the town. Captain Mahama was lynched and his body partially bent. The town is under quasi-lockdown as the police collaborate with the military to fish out persons involved in the lynching of the senior military officer. Some of the residents rounded up on Tuesday there, and it says Captain Mahama was the commander of military detachment of Obuasi. His lynching, so they're essentially going to perform some rites to pacify the place. But the point is that, so these elders who are traditional leaders, is it a case that when they speak, their youth do not hear? Because I understand this is not the first time somebody's been lynched there. When they speak and advise their people, do they listen to them at all?
Well, I don't know. We're told this whole thing happened in such a speed that perhaps it would be quite difficult for them to have listened to what the youth are saying. But as for the pacification, Johnny, it's a normal thing.
It's a normal thing.
Yes, I mean, if for us who are traditional people, if someone is killed on your land, there's a usual pacification that is done. Some even suggest that the gods there have been dirtied with the blood of the person, and so some cleansing had to be done and all that. So
because they see it as an abomination, isn't it?
I guess these elders were either sleeping in their rooms or were somewhere when the young guys were going berserk. But we see how it will happen. But that's the story there on 3FM. We'll tell you.
We're told that one of the suspects who claimed to have helped Captain Mahama to escape when the folks attacked him has denied any involvement in the murder. Take a look at this.
Oh yeah, today. The Kumu saw more to on it, the Kumu for to determine me who I want to make them jam mutuno, a dog jack account and Befumu to the other. Timbafu Mutunam the day con, and with Jinan, some in Fanunco, or catch him to a Sweden, into common Fanunco. Police station, Nasa and go for a crew of one in a day. And mad. In the time, may foot, sir, may fan the anacon. No motor to two, no one can see for. And to see from my farm motor now, gonna miss me jam motor. The ass one only dear name dinner cheap, no motor to two. Until the crew one bumpy view of the sea, much a bumpy one. To draw a nightman care be ever. No, nightman can or 4 car. To a 4 car now, yes, you driving in 2 car. No, the crew of will be true a boat man can. Into the boat man can no see from. To see from a skidder driver, or more mutina, charter for no mutina. It been so at the car neighbor. Into the bassa or no great to no money so on no yet, I'm robber. No, the car could sound. To the car could sound. No, down and home or cut it all. I'm need to know to name them a man who would man can. Need to be a can. They come me flare who cut off will be no be farm call hospital. The time of move or more brewing now. Nami de menu home. Man, 12 when be among. With the minute credit income, or more catch them to a Sweden. Tabu, save you, say, in Papua Radio. Man, Fabian.
So that's one of the suspects who is turning himself in, together with the assemblyman of the area. We don't understand it. The story he's narrating is that he was actually trying to help Captain Maxwell Mahama, but he could not help him at the end. He offered his motorbike for him to climb onto it, but at the end of the day, they were overpowered by the community.
Interesting. That's Komla Kluche, my colleague, who's been pitching camp there in that particular town. May the soul of Captain Mahama rest in peace. And I feel for the family at this point. Yes. Captain Mahama could have killed them all, but the family had said. And this is because it says the head of Captain Maxwell Mahama's family says the late soldier was good enough to have shot and killed his attackers, but decided to exercise restraint just as the way he was brought up. Chief Kase recalled that Captain Mahama was adjudged the best sniper when he graduated from the military academy and was one of the country's best snipers. And he was speaking to the media after a high-powered government delegation had visited them. So there you have it there. He could have, but he didn't. He didn't.
But the story would have been different.
The story would have been totally different. And, well...
the only thing, Johnny and Amma, is to get the investigative bodies to fix this thing. Yeah. That's what I mean. The stories are too many, and sometimes you want to piece them together, and they don't gel.
But you see, you're right. I'm looking for a situation where this will be an end to lynching in this country. Let this one seal it all, because we don't want to see this again. To
wake up and hear someone died because a mob lynched him.
Let this seal it, you know. But then there are also angles of the fact that around the place, the police station was far off, and the people thought that it would have been too much trouble. There's no excuse anyway.
There's no excuse.
But this must be the end of any form of lynching in this country.
Johnny, let me tell you something. That an elderly man, he was a minister under Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and Nkrumah is a great minister. He lives, I'm sure Johnny knows him, he lives around the Fel Eyor estate around North Kaneshie, behind Cocoa Clinic.
Right.
He said that, look, even if from where Captain Mahama was to the nearest police station was far, he said, where was the Ahimfie, the chief's palace?
Right.
Okay, they could have taken him there to the chief's palace, and he said these chiefs have some security that they could have taken over Captain Mahama and taken him to the nearest.
And you see, Brad, that was why I was asking where the elders were, because it's a small town. So when people are making noise, the elders, an elder would have known.
Definitely ask what's going on.
Exactly.
And I mean,
so you wait for the person to die and say you want to pacify.
It's only after the demise that we can have this discussion. Anyway, on that side,
we like funerals in Africa too much, and that is the result of what we're seeing. Apologies to the family. We'll take a break now. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to New Day. Let's do some news here now. The assemblyman for the Dentra-Boase area is in the custody of the police after he turned himself in Wednesday evening. The assemblyman, William Barr, who is believed to have incited some residents of the town to lynch the military officer, reported himself to the police station Wednesday afternoon. Police say the suspect, assemblyman, and two other women were to be neck deep in a gruesome murder are in the grip of the police. William Barr allegedly fled the town since the incident on Monday, May 29. One of the suspects who took the gun of the soldier is also in the grips of the police and is assisting in investigations. The police have been tight-lipped on offering any further information on the arrest. 3 people, the assemblyman William Barr and 2 others, are currently at the Bacano police cells in Cape Coast. Meanwhile, the police administration has dispatched a specialist team comprising homicide squad, crime scene management and action units of police operations from the headquarters to the Dentra-Boase township to, among other things, gather further evidence and intelligence regarding the murder of Captain Maxwell Adam Mahama. Presently, we're told that the police are keeping 6 suspects related to the murder in custody. They are William Barr, the assemblyman of the Dentra-Boase, Bismarck Donko, Philip Bedu, Kofi Nyame, Anthony Amoa, and Kofi Bedu. The Inspector General of Police has meanwhile assured the public that the police will employ all means possible to uncover circumstances leading to the murder of those behind it. Ghana and Niger will soon enter a permanent joint commission to strengthen trade and investment between the 2 countries. This was disclosed by the President Akufo-Addo after a meeting with his Nigerian counterpart, President Issoufou Mahamadou in Niamey.
The visit to Niger ended the 3rd phase of President Akufo-Addo's tour of West Africa. President Akufo-Addo expressed concern about the volume of trade between the two countries, emphasizing the need for improvement.
The need for us on a bilateral level to step up our cooperation so that the next session of the Permanent Commission for Joint Cooperation will be in Accra. The present understanding is that it will be in the first part of next year. But for myself, if we can bring it into this year, the latter part of this year, we will try and do so.
The President noted a common agriculture policy and tariff regime among member countries will boost growth. On the fight against terrorism, President Akufo-Addo pledged Ghana's support to Niger, which is in the front line in the fight against terrorism.
And it's important that everybody within the community, whether they are directly affected or not, give maximum support to Niger in this important fight. The fight of Niger is not just for Niger, but it is for the entire community of West Africa.
Merci. Let's do some other stories. Members of Parliament have called for adequate resourcing of the National Disaster Organization as the rains set in. The MPs say affected victims are usually left to their fate because NADMO is often handicapped in disbursing relief items whenever there is a disaster.
Member of Parliament for Ashaiman Ernest Nogbe, in a statement on the floor, said Accra and the entire country is not safe as the rainy season begins.
A lot of district and zonal staff have no offices to operate. From currently, NAMO owes suppliers over 35 million Ghana cedis, inadequate logistics for effective and timely response to disasters, and pay salary arrears, and the challenges are overwhelming.
Others stressed the need for NADMO to be financially empowered and resourced with the needed equipment for effective delivery.
If there is a disaster on farms that have been swept away, we know very well that those people who have been affected should be supported with food staff. But what happens? You would observe that they might be supplied with plastic basins or buckets. This is because most probably there is either no food staff or not enough food staff to be given to the farmers.
The legislators also urged NADMO to focus on preventing disaster by educating the public and not to wait till disasters strike.
NADMO must not only look at central government as the source of supply for resources in helping victims of disaster. One of their core functions is to help governance support from both private and public organizations. What we need to do as a people is to take measures that will prevent disasters in the first place. We also have roles and responsibilities to do while we look forward to the assistance that will come from NADMO.
And let's stay in Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael Okoye, has given the Finance Minister 1 week to appear before the House to provide detailed information on the recent $2.25 billion bond. The Minister is also to provide full complement of the documentation relating to the issuance, participants, utilization of the proceeds and the currency in which the bond was settled.
The Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu moved a half-hour motion requesting the Finance Minister to provide Parliament a detailed information on the recent $2.25 billion bond that was issued by government. The Majority Leader seconded the motion. A half-hour motion is applied with circumspection and provides an opportunity for a presentation of detailed information and documents to be provided later. This is the first time such a motion has been moved in Ghana's Parliament. The Speaker gave the Finance Minister 1 week to appear before the House to give the details. Meanwhile, the minority, led by Ranking Member on Finance, Atuforson, says the circumstances in which the bond was issued is not transparent.
It will surprise you to know that the use of proceeds, as the Minister responsible for Finance made it known to the public, he was categorical. He said, indeed, that the proceeds will be used for the purposes of switching short-term domestic instruments. But what surprises me is that the Finance Minister decided to go for a long-term debt of 19.75% to switch off a debt of 16.35%. From the calculations, it's clear that Ghana would be better off if we had decided to roll over the existing treasury bonds, which is being traded at 16.35%.
He said the finance minister's action had caused financial loss to the state.
From the calculations, Ghana would be better off with $330 million if he had not decided to go off on this tangent. In fact, in a year, Ghana would have saved $330 million. So for 15 years running, Ghana will be better off saving approximately 5 billion Ghana cedis, which is in excess of $1 billion. That is why we are saying that he has willfully caused financial loss to the state.
He added the bond was opened even before it was announced.
From Parliament, let's head to the courts. The Abeka Magistrate Court, hearing the case of the assault against the Abelenkpe branch manager of Mawako Restaurant, has adjourned the case to June 12. This was after the Arabic interpreter failed to come to court on Wednesday.
Though the prosecution and defense lawyers were in court, the case could not be heard due to the absence of the Arabic interpreter. The Judicial Service on Wednesday, May 11, provided an Arabic interpreter for Jihad Chaban following a request by his counsel, Ulio de Medero, on May 3. The Arabic interpreter, Mohammed Mubarak Hidil, is a lecturer with the Department of Modern Languages, University of Ghana. The court, presided over by Victoria Gansa, hence adjourned the case to June 12.
And that does it for news here from our plush News Hub studios here at the Tisawe in Kanda. We'll be hitting the streets shortly. Amma, what are we ranting about?
You know how recently people take the law into their own hands.
Okay.
And people claim the systems do not work. Is it true? Do the systems really not work? Is it just because the wheels of justice grind slowly that people think systems don't work? So I guess we're going to ask that question on the streets of Accra with George Quingen.
Indiscipline in the country is quite alarming, and this obviously is a source of worry for many law-abiding Ghanaians. And we can even set the scenario in the central region where a military officer was lynched on suspicion of being an armed robber and several other forms of indiscipline acts that the public or the media are not privy to. And so the question that comes to mind is that, is it that the laws and the systems in the country are not working? This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
Say yes, our Ghana ha and yefe. Mu suspect is a criminal cra. Na someone fra assemblyman uba no. Sewusu suspect a criminal. Move on come police. Now people have lost trust in the police. System ni juma. System ni juma. The first point of call is police. I don't know take law into their own hands. Police station. Police bet me juma na. It happens a lot in the system. Incident to happen before you call in the police. Police cannot be present at any time.
Me asama me to papa so maintenance here. Fine. According to the Amebra Ikai, was see what minimum yard because I have a dream in my dream. What's the minimum yard because baby all the was some Mamma Casa, see George Jana, some next year. Uti, Nipa Yasu or Jordan Opa. And oh, who, Mamma no, Ebisan so. Quite way. Me fa maybe call him and or trem. Azumi say man, why am robber prank or share mammy or be shoot to no. One be some mammy in possess or quite way ever him. Emma more yes say. No more obiba ya just like that. Which means Cromono, Emra Yejuma. At the SSM you be banano. And you're fine.
It looks as if this time around we are, in fact, there is no law in this country. I don't understand why people will take the law into their own hands and do what they've done. It is wrong. This man even explained to that he's an army officer. You should have apprehended him, send him to the police station. But to take the law into your own hands is very bad. And this kind of attitude should not be encouraged. So for me as a Ghanaian, I'll urge the police to do their work like they have been doing. Or else, people will do more than this. It happened recently in Kumasi where I have been told that a judge has even moved out of Kumasi saying he cannot stay because he fears his life.
Insecurity.
And for that matter, no, we are not in a banana state where people can take the law into their own hand and do what they are doing.
Wofa, sir, government oba now started, sir, problem ever. No problem ever, no government face problem ever, but one solve pay. We won't say problem na de so. And yet, for the past 8 years, 10 years, and a sanyama way, a started, but he and share. A friend at Jinsem.
No, because Ankaya former Rollins time, Ankasan Wainsi. What is it say lost na a week another?
Yes, lost na a week. And yes, to the extent, sir, Soja Wahoy. Me so na baby kura na ohia soldier wa ho wo so ana meboa ba se se an akwese soldier fo na ya twe omo agina baby enti no obia omo ntimi shake kuro na ntu baby a ye din so what ase na kan former roaring stammer asem we tu ye na ya match omo de akọ ya ye de ebeye
akọ pin se akoye soldier ni enye soldier ni aka we on be kum na akọ free obia hu but man we hwe bra wa bre unim school se na obekọ school ansa wanya captain Shabo and Usu, Demi and Crassa, Omukunu and Usu, ni trousers a shanu, one raw trousers, tries and I know naked. Ama Obabesia, what me a Funu so manches, Shinipano, Sacromo and the Messa, I was a soldier for a mom quine, no mutra bear 1 month, no munia my power or bear 1 month.
George, media maker say, they see a yenina and Fuaso, and Yadia say, but me concern say, security agencies na ye wono e say omo lift o majuma omo ye especially police some crofo e wo trust e believe e wo police mo a nka die si nyina nka ensi once minam e wo alajo e no bi pie kromfo ye chi ne bu na kun se onye kromfo opege ni nuaba nti opese opam no nti omo chi no instead of some de be call alajo police omo ti police no omo come de no kokro be jano nti omo eku no nti atire ye system no enye djuma nti ye system no yemfa instant enye empoaye
George and I make sure say indiscipline wo e wo ho but indiscipline na wo no I had to say near SC before no a party atale enti yehu but where ye military no and now I say anu na ma ye nyina ye yehu it indiscipline our Ghana ha no em say edu baby a bibi ba beba na we ya na kwa si neutral person because obi to me party atale na wa ye bibi o ye bibi we ya yes o party we ni party we. And I say, this time around, no, akwakoye military, anything about Obiano, it is a indiscipline, free and econo, government Bia Obebano, and what's that we entertain if we were party member.
Uncrofo Echo Court, Echo setting Crofo free, not police or ho, you buy any evidence. Say police say only evidence that then a traces say Ochina will be a bibia, making it Nakuma police. And I have lost confidence in the police. I have totally lost confidence in the police.
Mono, asem way, Mupese Mufan, and yes, idea way. Yakacha Musa, asem way, and your politics. And I won't see them make an judge. And your politics. Say I said to be free, maybe I said to be free.
Say Nina indiscipline.
Indiscipline. But men blame me police no. Fine, who need trust in the police? And who trust who assemblyman say what me ajira ho amayachi obia. At least I was out to me defend to say, you mean to me Jama Munkunu, intimate fan unco police. It is a mukromo from what me ajira munt me defending in there. Sasoja Afonso ba no mu ye mu bibia. Obi so to me defending mu.
I'm really surprised at this. So if I know the repercussions for indiscipline now, why would I still commit that crime?
It is because sometimes, like I said earlier on, there are competent police officers and there are rot ones who, even when they are supposed to deal with the law, they shield the law. They defend the indefensible. That is why sometimes we are facing all these problems. But this is where I want to urge the government. I am not against the government. I want to plead with them that the prison should sit up.
You say police in the I should say about checking discipline. So what can be done to strengthen the police service?
George, what can be done? In fact, they should motivate them. They should give them all the necessary equipments. Master, let me talk. They should be motivated well. They should be given their in fact, their law must take its course and make sure that anybody who falls into it should be dealt with. No politician, nobody should go and then mediate with the police in releasing any culprit.
If our politicians is going to allow...
Don't mention politicians alone.
Politicians. But when you talk, you mention. But when he's also talking and he's mentioning you. Me, George, me, as some way, me, I am a reho, and to me, I never me who I am a fast or make a because me, I am a reho. Where I am some betterness near Bobo, near for politics, near when we now and fata. Yeah, say justice, Embra. Yanchin Crawford, and I'm right, I do a mobile, near no mundi because Nicola Kitting, Obi Baba, Shady, I am fine.
On says Siano, videos na ya hun bebre e microphone. Nti we there evidence and no ankasa prove no video no oba no also manches no one onu yanchi no ena otimi hu sa nipa no wu wi enpompon ma fa bo se e di bonity wo form we no mu nyina nipa e wo say yetimi hu obia
for the past 5 months we are witnessing a lot of indiscipline level from it is abandoning the non-basic form now police
are you not sounding more political?
No, I'm not sounding more. I'm speaking my mind as a Ghanaian. For the past 5 months, we are witnessing a lot of indiscipline in the country. So what I will suggest is the police should be free and fair in delivering justice.
So obviously the public condemn indiscipline and they want the rightful authority that is in charge in checking this whole menace, that's the police service, to be strengthened. Remember, you can join this discussion. Just log on to our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's News on TV3, and on Twitter, it's our News TV3. Who knows, I might be in your community one day, so we sit like this and talk to the issues.
And as a celebrity, Mr. George Queening out there, I like the way, he handles things. And I've told him that one of these days, somebody may beat him if he doesn't take care.
I know, sometimes it's very scary when they're being aggressive.
Yes.
Well,
this is one of your WhatsApp messages. And the fact is that the police is not able to find the right people who always commit a crime. The fact is that always big names like popular lawyers will volunteer to save them. It's because of this. That's why other people get carried to commit heinous crimes. I can see that some people are still not civilized. May Allah punish the perpetrators. From Abdul Karim in Tunyani. Abdul, I hope that the Ramadan is progressing steadily for you. Allah Kariba. May God listen to all your prayers. And good morning to the fantastic trio of GH on television. How are you guys faring? We are very well. Says, I wake up every single morning to see my adorable, voluptuous, irresistible, pretty Dr. Nanama. I got my eyes locked on you, honey. Oh my God!
Is he
that's
a friend to Shakespeare?
That's Shakespeare's cousin.
It just sounds like someone who just opened the dictionary this morning to write a message.
I guess the young man is Shakespeare's
cousin. The boy get raps, so.
Why isn't that a man?
See, look, it's adorable, voluptuous, irresistible, pretty doctor.
But that's not how to spell voluptuous.
Four adjectives.
Yes, four.
To describe
and he's got his eyes locked on you. Bam. Good morning, TV3. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Love you all. From Brad Kofi right in focus. And it's time for the president to rise up and take action on such act on human beings being lynched. Just take a look at what happened to the captain, a man of integrity. In whose authority should we do such a thing? This is the time for the president to address the nation on such acts on human. No one has the right to do such a thing. Prince Apia from Adenta Pantang. Good morning, Johnny Hughes. I only watch New Day to see your moves from Believer Sun City. Thank you. Yes, I'll be dancing with Amma today. Hello, TV3. You guys are doing good for us. TV3, I love your show this morning, and keep up the good works. Botha from Wine. Good morning, TV3, and thank you for bringing us this good news every day. And we're also learning from it. William Mensah. Good morning to you guys. You are just making my day, especially Mr. Johnny by Busuri, Gariba, Joseph inside Wa. Please, Bright, please. The global investors are serious guys, and things like parliamentary inquiry do not scare them a bit. Baden from Odan. Are you sure, Baden, about that? Yeah. Good morning to you all. I enjoyed the song played this morning. What a miracle song. And have a happy new month. Stay humble. Richard from Gomwabu Dumburam. The law system in the country are not properly working due to corruption. you say? Well, the public will not only stop lynching people when the police begins to show justice. Thus, when criminals are sent to them, they have to deal with the case without bias. And please, BA, well, Bright Amfo, I'm sure. Okay, Bright, Amma, and J. Okay, BA, well, this is an acronym for us. And if this lynching that we're talking about will stop, it needs consistent education, because the next generation to come may not know what happened today unless history repeats itself. My little worry is that how is the media educating the public about this act by uncivilized citizens? Francis Amihere from 2nd D sent that one to us. Interesting one.
And we're told, educating. Yes. You know, NCCE, good morning to you. I think they should take these things up and go into the communities and educate them. We only hear of them when it comes to elections, but I think it's high time they start, because they are everywhere. Every nook and cranny of this country, you can find them.
Right.
So
you know also that the ISD is supposed to have such stations. So if you go into some villages, the very remote ones, you find an ISD cone speaker, and they're the ones that people listen to their radio through and announcements and all of that. Even if somebody has a letter, they will announce that you have a letter at the community center. Come and pick it up. Yeah, people do that. You live in Accra, you don't know what is happening in there.
Very interesting.
Ekikimi Township. But I'm told of a sad story that 2 immigration officers have also been beaten up, you know, lynched here, some place in the eastern region, and that's sad indeed. I had one of my friends, a senior officer from the prison service, give me that call, and it's bad. It's bad. What is exactly happening? Are we becoming a lawless state? I don't know. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back.
Ghana's most beautiful, coming soon on TV3. This Sunday. Boom, boom, boom. No, we're about to say, well, notice. Here we go. I say, boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say, well, I say, boom, boom, boom. No, we're about to say, well, I say, boom, boom, boom. No, we're about to say, well. Ghana's strongest shows this and every Sunday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Holy Trinity Spa and Health Farm, Tabia Herbal Mixture and Capsules,
and supported by Unia 95.1 FM
and 3news.com.
To every story, there's a deeper meaning, a host of angles, which, when reported with the highest ethics of journalism, bring out the perspectives that matters most to you. That's what News 360 is all about. I seek to climb higher, dig deeper, and go further to bring you 360 degrees of the news and what happens thereafter. I'm Natalie Fort. Join me on News 360 every weekday at 7 p.m.
There are lots of amazing stories out there. What we do on News 360 is to bring to you the most compelling news by teasing out the right pieces that bring the stories to life. My job is to present to you the news in the most gripping manner and asking the critical questions that bring out the needed detail out of the stories. My name is Alfred Okanse. Join me on News 360, Monday through to Friday, 7 p.m. on air and online only on TV3.
My blessing is
Music, it's bigger. Music shows every Saturday at 8 p.m. right here on TV3. Music is brought to you by Heaven Insecticide Spray and Mosquito Coil and Donko Bitters, and supported by Unia FM 95.1 in Accra.
That girl over there, her mama and my mama, they are crossing here to please.
Okay.
See the salt.
Hello.
Yeah. Another one. It's a miracle. Yeah. Zah.
Yes.
You see that girl over there?
It's your auntie's cousin's younger sister's brother, right? Let us take the picture.
No, they are your van. Come over. Quickly.
Hello.
My another one. Same miracle. Zah.
Will you keep quiet? Zah. What? This is work. What can I do for you now?
Jennifer's Diary shows every Tuesday through to Friday at 6 p.m. right here on TV3. Don't miss it. And it's brought to you by Give Us Capsules.
After this one, I can play. Why would Rose? Why not get this out? Damn, who that there? Yeah, I should have moved out there. Alright. Am I? Yeah, you proud to bet this out. Damn, who that there? Yeah, I should have moved out there. Who that there? Who that there?
3 Music, Mondays to Fridays at 4 p.m. right here on TV3.
Man, not love me so much. That program, yeah, no, I'm mixing that program. It's just now showing someone who say so much, and nothing of massive work. Who must have program and number for TV stations were training now, was free. TV3, that's one of my minutes in the share, and nothing of the program. Every Monday, every Friday, and you remember what shit, there we have no one here. Now it's not, now I share.
Guide starts this morning and says soldier killers exposed, pistol recovered. That's the story on the front page of the paper. Also, $2.25 billion bond petition bogus. That's according to Minister of Finance. And the Russians charged for Galamsey. The Ghanaian Times says government bans recruitment of workers to Gulf states. And the assemblyman involved in the Denchira Captain Mahama's death, Ghanaian Times is reporting, is being arrested. And then we will use equity financing for infrastructural projects. President Asiedu-Dartey Akufo-Addo talking there. The BNFT says, provide power, Africa will grow. Dangote, others tell African governments. The Daily Graphic says police descend on Dinchira to round up killers of Captain Mahama, assembly member arrested. Heritage, Foriata Sermont over 2.25 billion bond, and service personnel were told are angry with GCB Bank, several other newspapers with me. This morning I get to do the talking to my extreme left, a member of the NPP and Deputy Minister of Sports, Pius Enam Hadiji. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing great.
We are doing great.
Thanks so much for joining us this Thursday morning.
Thank you.
And then to my left is Member of Parliament for the Damongo constituency, Honorable Adams Mutawakelu. Good morning too.
Good morning.
And thanks so much for your time.
Great, thank you very much.
Great. So let's start this morning. For the daily graphic and daily guide, the good news this morning is that the pistol of a soldier who was lynched has been retrieved. The assembly member who was said to be at the center of the whole confusion has been arrested. And so we can't say, Pius, that the police is making inroads as far as putting a closure to this is concerned. We can say that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to you and to our cherished viewers. And let me say to you that the proper rendition of my designation is Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports.
Not for sports.
Not for sports.
I am grateful.
That is crucial to His Excellency. It's crucial to us at the ministry.
All right, youth and sports. I am grateful.
Absolutely. First of all, let's begin by expressing our condolences to the bereaved family. In fact, this has become a loss that goes beyond even to the immediate Captain Mahama family. It is a loss to the entirety of the country. And I think that we are unanimously agreed that this should become the turning point as far as this concept of mob justice or mob injustice, if you may, is concerned, and that we should grab this moment and make sure that we leverage on it and create enough awareness that there cannot be any such thing as mob injustice. In fact, they are contradictory. Once it is mob, it can definitely not be justice. So there is no such thing as mob justice. It is actually mob injustice. It's cruelty. And that as unfortunate and as sad as it is, Captain Adams' death offers all of us an opportunity to push forward the education, the awareness. And so my heart goes out to the family, to the wife, and I know him personally. I mean, his father used to work in Akosombo, where I also stay. And so it's a sad moment for all of us. My condolences to the family. It is true. The good news, again, is that the police is doing its job.
Right.
And I believe that everybody, including His Excellency the President, is giving inspiration and motivation. A few hours after the unfortunate incident, the President issued a statement and said that whatever needs to be done to unravel the mystery around Captain Adams' death and to arrest and prosecute the perpetrators, no stone will be left unturned. I think that the police have taken cue, and I am happy this morning that they have, for want of a better word, descended on Dentra Obuasi in a bid to round up the perpetrators of this heinous crime and bring them to justice. We all have to support the police and insist that they do the proper investigations that have to be done. But you see, away from this, I also want to make a plea.
Even before your plea, you said that we should all agree that Captain Mahama's death should be the end of mob injustice. Now, is it by just agreeing, or what do we do to end it?
Well, I think that he definitely has become the sacrificial lamb, maybe because of his stature, who he is, and all that. The unanimity and agreement around the table around this time, for me, is a golden opportunity that everybody is discussing. I think it's topical. It's a topical. It has brought to the fore the issue of mob injustice. And so it is not just by agreeing. I do agree with you. We have to move it beyond that
Punishment?
Punishment has to, of course, that will happen. But beyond that, I'm looking even at education. Because sometimes it is sheer ignorance and lack of knowledge on the part of some people, thinking that, and the argument has been made, regrettably so, by some people that, okay, justice delayed, is justice denied. But I believe that justice rushed is also justice crushed.
Right.
And so we have to, sometimes it is better that you took time, a long time, to make sure you get justice than to rush and get people who otherwise were not even guilty.
Into jail.
Into jail and all that. And we have had cases of people who have been even wrongly jailed because we are all in a rush. People think that once you are accused of something, you are guilty and you have to be dealt with immediately. But the position of the law is that until you are proven beyond doubt that you actually are guilty, the presumption is that you are innocent.
Okay.
And that kind of education is what we must push into the minds and heads of everybody. That even if you have a reasonable suspicion that somebody is engaged in a crime, and luckily you are able to overpower and arrest the person, why push it to the extent of even wanting to kill the person? Now you have overpowered the person clearly. And so you have what it takes to take the person to the law enforcement people. You have what it takes now to take the person to the police. Okay. You have empowered the person. The person is entirely helpless. And you proceed to the point of, it is gory attempting to watch the video.
The video around. But just before your plea, the call to get the DC removed, you would do same? You ask the president to remove it?
Well, not necessarily. I think it's a sensitive matter.
Right.
I think that the DCE was not properly briefed. Of course, he's new. I mean, the DCEs are just a few weeks. You cannot know everything. It takes time. Even me at the ministry, I went into the ministry longer than he became DCE. Yeah. But I'm still learning. Just yesterday, new information came to my attention. So you cannot go to office as DCE and within 1 week assume to know everything. So there are things.
So we can forgive him.
I believe that he spoke out of ignorance, and again, it is about the emotion that was surrounding the whole matter. I think that we should give him, particularly when he himself is showing remorse
for what he said
and explaining that he was not properly briefed by the people who should have known better. I mean, the system that was already there before he came, and that he himself is beginning to show remorse. I think that we can give him another opportunity, but this is not something that ordinarily should have been countenanced.
Now your plea, to wrap up before I go
my plea is that I see a subtle and unfortunate attempt at politicizing this matter, and from no less a person than the General Secretary of the NDC. I think it is rather unfortunate. This is not a matter that we can play on the partisan political football pitch, MPP against NDC, and that we are now going to have to recount how many people were in mob justice, killed in a mob justice manner and all that. The General Secretary of the NDC, I'm told himself, he's where he comes from, the chief, Siakwa, his chief was killed by mob justice.
He's not here, so you don't make these allegations that he won't be here to answer. But you think that he's politicizing?
I think so. I was just listening to him on my way here, and I thought I thought that it was unfortunate, and we should not attempt it. Look, we should be united and unanimous and agree about this and fight about this the way and manner we have fought the Galamsey menace. And let me at this point commend our brothers in the NDC for the support that they lent. Largely, I know there are a few people who also try to politicize it, but generally, amongst a lot of well-meaning members of even the NDC, the Galamsey agenda of His Excellency the President and the government of the NPP have been supported largely, and that is good for national development.
I'm grateful.
And they must be commended, but in this one, I think that they have misfired.
Okay, I'm grateful. What about Mutawakili? So you can pick it from here. He said that your General Secretary is politicizing, and then of course you also tie in the call to remove the DCE and also the fact that the police has arrested the key persons named in this whole thing.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and more especially the good people of Damongo constituency. It's a heinous crime, it's a barbaric crime, and my brother was killed untimely. We expected him, even if he wants to die, he died at the battlefront or peacefully home. But the nature and manner the body even was treated is something that is unacceptable. And my condolences to the bereaved family. We are all the same. We are all Gonjes from Bole. Now, when such a crime is caused, and the head of the district, that is the DCE, rise to the media, and the utterances do not show any remorse. And also, immediately after that, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, said there will be swift action. And your appointee is not showing any remorse, as if endorsing mob injustice. What do? You set an example. You fire him. It sends a signal to the rest. By coming to say ignorance, the people are ignorant.
How Sent is new in office?
You see,
so he was misinformed.
Who misinformed him? Where did he take the directives from? Didn't he have a regional minister? That should have been the first person he should have called. Brief the regional minister and take directives, not to rush. And that is why I say you set an example. That is very, very important. Was he briefed by the DISEC? Because he should have made reference to who briefed. When we met at DISEC, this was what came out. But see, he was speaking in just anyhow. And therefore, you set example. If we allow him, it's as a result of ignorance, I'll tell you, at the end of the day, we'll see what happened. But before I continue, I want to read chapter 14 of the MPP manifesto and the introduction. With your permission, and this is the introduction. Ghanaians are becoming increasingly concerned about their security due to the increasing level of crime and lawlessness under the Mahama-led NDC government. Today, Ghanaians do not feel safe. The Mahama-led NDC government has failed the people of Ghana in terms of security of the country and of its citizens. Our existing laws are largely not enforced. And when they are done selectively, often with much reference, much interference from the executive. This is chapter 14, when MPP manifesto is in respect to security. Page 159 of the listing. Are we now safe? Are we now safe? I don't think so. There are several instances that have taken place. And the preamble they have there, they are not fulfilling that particular type of preamble.
Are they not isolated cases? Can we say that because of this incident in Denchira, the whole country is in that state of insecurity?
I'm making this statement in reference to several other ones that has happened. This is a heinous crime. A DC came to support the killing. And you leave him in office and say it's as a result of ignorance. That is where it begins. You fire him and clear the way for in-depth investigation, so that he doesn't feel that once I made this statement, I need to cover up A or B. Who knows whether he's also involved in the planning. Because when you listen to the statement, you know that it didn't just happen all of a sudden. And I believe that throughout, when investigation is done, we'll know. Thank God the culprits have been arrested, and I believe that justice will be done. However, with the beginning of the DC being asked that it's innocent, I won't be surprised if it turned out to be like Delta Force, Delta 8.
How do you mean?
And that is one of the insecurities that do not go to support what they have put there in their manifesto. Because that there was regional security coordinator was removed from office. During the process of justice to be meted out, a court was invaded and they were released. At the end of the day, the 8 who were arrested for that, no evidence. So as at now, they are gone scot-free. We are in this country when the youth attacked toll booths, and the acting chairman of a party came out and said they are protecting government properties. When toll booths are being burnt, that is the type of justice they said they will come. We're in this country where several people are being dismissed, even middle-level management. We know that political appointees, yes, if you're a political appointee, you can easily go. But middle-level management, injustice is being meted out to them. And we say, okay, that is the security we need. I think President Nana Akufo-Addo should sit up. Our General Secretary made this statement because of this catalog of what is happening. When things happen and they are allowed to take a political turn, people are allowed to go free. This is what will end. Long, no long, so many common electricity tariff tend to violence. Why? Because they have learned from the fact that you can do anything and go scot-free. Once you come out and say, oh, I belong to A or B.
Is this not the politicization that Pius is talking about?
It's not about
issues that so that we are unable to deal with these issues as a country.
That is what I'm saying, that if he wanted to treat it as a country, the utterances of the DC should have been the beginning. I thank God, Kokubako Jina came out and said the DC should be fired. And many prominent people. Why say, okay, forgive him is as a result of ignorance. And already indicating that, he indicated the mob justice is because we need education. Yes, but we need a deterrent. And he indicated because of ignorance. Ignorance, yes, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. It is in our laws that ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
I think he's suggesting that he was not properly informed. That's where he brings in the...
And therefore, if not properly informed and he mess up, you set him as an example so that his colleagues will learn that if I made such a mistake, I'm gone.
Pius, so
I wanted to touch on the General Secretary.
He seemed to disagree. I'll come back. He seemed to disagree with you.
No, I'm not
totally disagree.
No. You see, I'm not the appointing authority.
But what
so
I wanted to find out what do you think.
The point is that opinion, and you see, he tried to push the argument as though that is the MPP position. Opinion is divided. He talked about Mr. Kweku Baku, for instance, who thinks the DCE should go. I've heard leading members of the party who think the DCE should go. I am thinking that, well, we can give him a second chance. Okay. That's my personal opinion. The appointing authority has not spoken on the matter, on the fate of the DCE yet. So it is premature. But you see, again, the politicization that I warned about is what, unfortunately, and this is unlike Honorable MP for Damanko. Normally, he walks the middle ground and is very fair-minded on this matter. But I think that the NDC is beginning to be shaped into a certain politicization. They are getting ahead of themselves. Look, if we want to look at, and again, it's the mob justice thing, the mentality of mob justice. Once people have been arrested or they have been accused of being involved in going to the court to free the Delta Force people, they are guilty and must be dealt with as such. Again, Honorable, your argument exhibits a certain mob justice mentality. We have to allow the system to run. If the police or the prosecution believes that there's not a case there, why does he believe there's a case? You see, the mob justice...
Not the police. Is it not legitimate in asking... Pius, sorry for cutting, but is it not legitimate in asking that page 157 of your manifesto talks about insecurity at that time?
Absolutely.
And mentions this. And
absolutely.
So is it not legitimate asking that, are we now safe looking at what has happened?
It can be a legitimate concern on its own, but in tandem with the matter we are discussing, it's politicized. And let me make the point.
He's politicizing.
Let me make the point that, you see, and let's take our time and swallow this and understand it. People invaded a court. The police have a duty to investigate, according to our laws. Then bring a docket before the state prosecutors, who are not politicians, for advice. So the docket goes before the state, the regional, the chief state prosecutor of the Ashanti region. She looks at her document and advises that, no, what investigation you have done, this case cannot fly. That is my advice. Let's drop it. But mob justice mentality, once there was an attack on the court, once people have been arrested, whether they are innocent or not, they must be jailed. Mob justice mentality.
You don't think?
And I am surprised and disappointed that it is even coming from the high level of the membership of Parliament.
The legal aspect of this case is clear. There is no evidence.
Absolutely,
it is clear. But don't you think that the ordinary person on the street who believe that
unfortunately the honorable member is not an ordinary person on the street.
These people have been freed because they belong to a certain political divide.
That is where you and I, who may be better be informed on these matters, help to educate the process. That there is a process. It could have been you. You could have been walking in front of you, my brother. Could have been walking. Honorable Watakilu could have been walking in front of the court that day. Mutawakilu could have been walking in front of the court that day. Okay, hey, he would have been arrested. Okay, does that mean he should be jailed? So I'm saying to you that that mob justice mentality, which is being even exhibited at the highest level of membership of Parliament, is dangerous. That is what led to the the killing of this innocent.
My brother says a prosecutor does this. I say we had a letter from the Attorney General. Who appointed the Attorney General?
No, who is the prosecutor was acting on behalf of
upon advice from the Attorney General. Attorney General. Okay. The Attorney General was appointed by the President, President Nana Akufo-Addo.
No.
Let me tell you, who holds the ultimate responsibility?
So the President acting on behalf of the AG. That's all.
Who holds the ultimate responsibility of that decision? Is the Attorney General. So if a prosecutor Attorney General has been appointed to take responsibility for their actions, and they go to say that upon the advice from the Attorney General, there are no evidence. And then you say they are not, these are not politicians. Yes, the ultimate responsibility lies on the politician. And that is why he's the principal legal advisor of the government.
I see. Let's stay on this issue, but let's quickly pick this one from the heritage. Now, the IEA, Institute of Economic Affairs, conducted a research, and the research reveals that majority of Ghanaians feel unsafe and want the president to address security concerns in the country. Now, this is the research, the findings. 37.1% of 1,641 Ghanaians interviewed stated that the Akufo-Addo-led government must prioritize fighting crime and promote personal safety. 19.4% also said the president must strengthen the judiciary, while 19.5% said government should prioritize peace and security. And Pius, so looking at what Honorable Mutawakilu read from your manifesto, page 14,
chapter 14, page 159.
Some 5 months on, this is still the feeling of Ghanaians. So does it suggest the government is not working hard enough?
No, it suggests that Ghanaians have a high expectation of the NPP, and has always been the case. You see, unfortunately, the standards of measurement of the NPP are always higher than the standards of measurement of the NDC. There's no doubt.
That's according to you.
What it means, my understanding of this is that the expectation of Ghanaians are higher. It doesn't necessarily mean that Ghanaians are not satisfied. Okay. Ghanaians know, for instance, that if this had happened under the NDC, where NDC party people had gone to invade a court or even take away the regional security advisor, not one person would have been arrested. So Ghanaians see a major departure from the NDC regime, what was happening in the NDC regime. Look,
when the received members insulted the judiciary, they were jailed.
And the president freed them by
so
fear.
At least they were jailed.
No, but I'm saying that one, the police didn't prosecute them. The superior courts of adjudicature, using the original powers to summon people, appeared. If they had been left to the NDC system, the people would not have gone to court in the first place. It was exhibited when the president unilaterally and unanimously freed the people by exercise of prerogative of power.
But so, you know that is his power.
I agree, but yes, I'm saying that it tells you what his true intentions were, and that if it was going to be the state prosecuting those people, the people would not have been arrested in the first place. This one, the chief judge, the justice of the Supreme Court themselves summoned them, so that's different. But I'm saying that the people see, look, a cabinet minister's brother went on radio and boasted that he had been killing people in this country. He was not even invited by the police. Boasting, that they were killing people. And I was just telling you that.
I'm going to put that question to Honorable.
Yes.
But
I don't know who the cabinet ministers
your manifesto says.
Well, maybe tell me.
You said that ignorance is not an excuse.
Honorable,
you said it now.
Right. Before I go to him, your manifesto says that we were in a state of insecurity. 5 months on, you do not think that Ghanaians should have been comfortable with perhaps efforts at providing security?
Ghanaians are getting increasingly comfortable because perpetrators of crimes are being arrested.
I see.
And they are being taken through the process. Look, the president or the MPP, we cannot be magicians to foretell crime and stop it before it happens. What we can do is to take decisive action after the crime had been committed. When he talked about Somanya, the NDC MP spoke that something was going to happen in Somanya 2 days before it happened. When it did happen, they went and bent down the ECG vehicle. The police didn't leave it at that. They arrested.
I hope you're not alleging.
No, I'm not. I'm just stating the facts. I'm not alleging anything.
All right.
I'm just stating the facts. Okay, people can draw their own inferences, but I'm stating the facts. Okay, but when the people went and bent the thing, the police arrested them. Another group went and freed those. I'm telling you that there is major drive from the police to arrest the people who invaded the police station. When crime happens, we cannot. I'm telling you, it would have been a paradise if Honorable or myself, we were able to prevent crime. But we are mere mortals. We cannot. What we can only do is take action after people break the law. And so far, let him give me an evidence that the law has been broken and the government of Ghana has not taken an action.
I see.
Be it the Delta 8, be it the freeing of the freeing of the invading of the court, be it the situation in Somanya, wherever it is, be it the Nchobwasi killing, wherever it is, government has taken decisive steps to deal with crime.
Okay, so all the cases are before court. Majority of Ghanaians feel unsafe and want the president to address.
It's very, very. I've enumerated some where Ghanaians feel that they are very unsafe. And let me even go further. He has gone a little bit deeper now, let me tell you. Yes, may he so rest in peace. The Upper East Regional Chairman was murdered. Culprits were arrested, prosecuted. MPP came power. Fresh evidence came when the regional chairman, your regional chairman, on tape alleged that A and B and C masterminded the killing. What happened?
He denied it later.
That's
he
right.
Said
it's a slip of tongue.
It's a slip of tongue.
Did you know the interesting thing? The issue was not about any murder. So if it was about murder and you say, oh, it's a slip of tongue, it was on something else in respect of goats and cow. So deal with that matter. But veer to killing of the chairman of Upper East, former chairman of Upper East region, and therefore say slip of tongue. So I think that it was a lead to investigate.
So your point is that some people have committed some wrongdoing, and yet government doesn't seem to want to
action.
go after them?
When another government came, fresh evidence, these are evidence. You needed to follow up. And you just left it, and you know what? The NEC handled it and said, okay, let Tempest cool. Now, the NEC is the security branch of the Flagstaff House. That is one. We are here. J.B. Dankwa was murdered. People were arrested. Just 2 days ago, they said no evidence. The people should go.
They have been rearrested.
No, that's the process.
No evidence. They should go. And I wasn't sure whether they were rearrested.
They have been rearrested. Yeah. I'm just telling you. They have been.
3, a Delta 8, no evidence, release up to date. We are not pursuing anything serious to ensure that justice is meted. And that is why the people are claiming that there is insecurity in the country. 2, it's not only wait for crime to happen. Proactiveness is the tool to be able to detect and dismantle before it happens. Should be what, as a government, you should be gearing towards. Not wait when it happens. No, we should be minimizing it. The police should be recruited. The national security should be apt with technology to be able to detect and destroy before it happens.
Absolutely.
Proactiveness is what we should very much concentrate on.
The IGP's assurances against lawlessness, is that not assuring enough?
Yes, you can say it, but action is what we are looking at. After saying you can say it, but action. But he was claiming that it's only when the crime happened that action can be taken. No.
He said every crime that has happened under the government,
you need to be
the
proactive.
police is investigating.
You need to
and
be
you want to stop
first.
before it happens.
Yes.
I'm grateful. We'll stay on the heritage this morning. Of course, some other papers have it. The Oforiatta summoned over 2.25 billion. A parliament has ordered that Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Oforiatta, to furnish the House with information regarding the issuance of the $2.25 billion bond within a week. The order is at the behest of the minority members who claim that the issuance of the bond was shrouded in secrecy. This is an old story, a developing story, let me put it that way. Now, Pius, is the Finance Ministry ready to put an end to this whole thing about this bond?
Thank you very much. But before I come to that, just one quick one.
All right.
Let me say that I do see Honorable's point. But you see, the point I tried to make about the prevention, recruiting police, buying gadgets for intelligence offices and all that. Yes, there are things that any government would do, and we MPP would definitely do. But we are just 5 months into government.
Okay.
So it takes time to do these things. When was appropriation passed, when our money is even being released and all that. You have had all these years, 12 years unabated, you were in government.
12 years?
Yeah. 8 years. No, 8 years. Yes, 8 years under President Atta Mills.
No,
and then,
4 years, 4 years.
And,
it's 8 years.
And then 4 for...
it's only 2020 will take over.
So, yeah, 8 years. That is true. Within 8 years, you didn't buy any, you didn't retool the police and all that. Within 5 months, you want...
we didn't.
You didn't. If you had, are you saying that we came to destroy the equipment?
Okay.
Is that the argument?
All right. Your point is made. Let's move on.
If the equipment are not there, and the executive did not psychologically prepare the people to take action.
The equipments are not there.
That is why
we will get it. You went to Brazil to buy the equipment, you squandered the money.
Okay, Paz, your point is made. Let's stay on them, Mr. Oforiatta.
We'll come there later. But the equipments were not there.
All right. Mr. Oforiatta's issue.
My brother, the NDC is doing fishing. But unfortunately, they can't get any fish. You see, unless they meet some Jesus Christ who redirects them, they will fish and not get any fish. You remember that portion of the Bible where people went fishing, the disciples went fishing, they fished and didn't get anything until Jesus came along. There's no Jesus that is going to come to the NDC. They are fishing. And they are, you see, now they are taking steps to repair their damaged reputation. They had internationalized their incompetence when they wrote to the American Securities and Exchanges Commission. Now they are finding information. Now you are asking, when you knew there was an opportunity to call the gentleman before Parliament and ask information, he will give you the information. You, on the basis of the information that you didn't have, you took a decision that the man had committed an offense. Based on that, you petitioned American Securities and Exchanges Commission. Only to now come back and say, oh, come and let me ask you, so you give me information if there's any.
But that petition has not been taken off. Don't forget the American petition.
That is what I'm saying. That one, it is a matter of them internationalizing their disgrace and incompetence.
Should Mr. Oforiatta shamed the opposition by just releasing all the information?
No. You see, every information out there, I don't know what information the NDC wants again. Because I have seen enough information that has put my mind to rest. But Mr. Oforiatta is ever ready to appear before Parliament, okay, at a good time, okay, to answer questions, because there cannot be any question on this matter that cannot be answered.
Why then is the AG seemingly not ready to release them from if it is that easy?
Well, I don't get that impression. I'm saying that
because when a legal practitioner wrote to her, she said she has no information on the bond.
Well, but I'm saying that she is not the finance minister.
She's the legal advisor.
Yes, but there's a finance minister who handled the bond. Okay, so if you wanted information on the bond, why are they not summoning the Attorney General?
This is a business transaction.
But I'm saying that
the lawyer of the state should know how it goes.
You are not suggesting that the NDC was wrong when they went to when they are summoning Mr. Oforiatta to come before Parliament, because they know that he is the original and true source of information. You understand? So the information does exist, and it is with Mr. Oforiatta, and that is why the NDC is going to ask him to come before Parliament. And the man has indicated his preparedness to come before Parliament and answer any questions.
Should he have done it earlier when
they cannot just
he has to wait for Parliament before.
So he has to be called to come to Parliament.
Let's go to Parliament yesterday. How the House, before Honorable Mutawakilu comes in, how the House took the decision to get Mr. Oforiatta to quickly bring out the information needed.
The Minority Leader Haruna-Iddrisu moved a half-hour motion requesting the Finance Minister to provide Parliament a detailed information on the recent $2.25 billion bond that was issued by government. The Majority Leader seconded the motion. A half-hour motion is applied with a circumspection and provides an opportunity for a presentation of detailed information and documents to be provided later. This is the first time such a motion has been moved in Ghana's Parliament. The Speaker gave the Finance Minister 1 week to appear before the House to give the details. Meanwhile, the minority, led by Ranking Member on Finance, Atuforsen, says the circumstances in which the bond was issued is not transparent.
It will surprise you to know that the use of proceeds, as the Minister responsible for Finance made it known to the public, he was categorical. He said, indeed, that the proceeds will be used for the purposes of switching short-term domestic instrument. But what surprises me is that the Finance Minister decided to go for a long-term debt of 19.75% to switch off a debt of 16.35%. From the calculations, it's clear that Ghana would be better off if we had decided to roll over the existing treasury bonds, which is being traded at 16.35%.
He said the Finance Minister's action had caused financial loss to the state.
From the calculations, Ghana will be better off with $330 million if he had not decided to go off on this tangent. In fact, in a year, Ghana would have saved $330 million. So for 15 years running, Ghana will be better off saving approximately 5 billion Ghana's cedis, which is in excess of $1 billion. That is why we are saying that he has willfully caused financial loss to the state.
He added the bond was opened even before it was announced.
That was what happened in Parliament yesterday when the Speaker summoned the Finance Minister. Pastor, I'll come to you, but let me quickly go to Honorable Mutawakilu. So 1 week he's supposed to appear, and is it then that the minority will be satisfied?
No. Thank you very much. I want to be clear. We have several issues.
With the bond?
With the bond. One, the process in which it was carried out. Two, conflict of interest. And
because the minister is involved.
And three,
how?
Yes.
How?
Also, he claimed that the money was used for short term to pay off short-term domestic debt. We have several. So I'll just pick them small.
Quickly. One
is conflict of interest, and that one is being pursued as SRAJ. So once it is SRAJ that is investigating it, I won't concentrate much. That means that he has personal interest. And I will attest to something that was asked during the finance minister's vetting that was shut down by, it was Honorable Suhini who asked it, that whether he has offshore accounts, and that one wasn't agreed by the chairman of the committee. And that would have been a very good ground for us to be able to know, and therefore be able to link it well, whether there are some subsidiary companies but that wasn't allowed, that is gone. Two, is it a domestic bond or an international bond? That is the second issue. Because if it is a domestic bond, it should be cedi denominated. One, payment should be made in cedis. Repayment should be made in cedis. If it is dollar denominated, then it is an international bond. That is two. Three, the brain of the government is cabinet. The brain.
Right.
of the government.
That's how
is
you
cabinet.
Want to, how you want to
yeah,
take
but
a look at it.
whatever major decision is to be taken will go through cabinet and then get approved, then executed. As at the time the bond was issued, there was no cabinet. There must be legal opinion on that transaction. The Attorney General said she wasn't aware of it. And as such, she cannot comment on it. Confirmed by a Dauda letter to the Attorney General. Second, when lawyer Dauda wrote to Attorney General to get facts, and he said, oh, I don't have that facts. It goes to confirm her earlier statement that she wasn't involved in that transaction. If it is a dollar denominated and therefore not a domestic bond, it needed parliamentary approval, which didn't come.
All these are concerns.
Now, in the course of this, he indicated that the money was used, that means what has been realized, to set off domestic short-term debt. Now let's look at the short-term debt. There are the 90 Treasury bill and the 180 Treasury bill. These are short-term debts. And the former Deputy Minister for Finance and ranking for Finance made it clear, if these are the short-term debts, domestic debts, and the interest is 16.35, why should you go for a long-term loan of interest of 19 to settle a 16? It will be a cost to government. And he gave a classical distinction. You have two types of risks. Roll-on risk, that you roll on the treasury bills, or concentrated risk. Roll-on risk, you roll it on at 16.5, or concentrated, over 95% is purchased by one person, and it is 19%. And that is why he's indicating that if that is the decision taken by the finance minister, then it will cost Ghana $330 million a year.
Okay.
And that is the aspect we want the minister to come provide
and explain.
Okay, so we have to be very, very...
Pause for me. I'll come back to you. But Johnny Hughes has just joined us. Perhaps before I come to you, Johnny Hughes will take us through some comments that I've just dropped in.
Absolutely. Interesting their comments on WhatsApp so far. Conversation is generating a lot of... it says, good morning, I'm enjoying your show. Please, I want to tell the Deputy Sports Minister that he should stop the comparison because we voted them in because they said they are going to fix the mess they claimed the NDC cost. We were secured at the NDC time than now. And my condolences to the Mahama family, Tiwa from Kwawu. And AU Farouk in Tamale says, good morning to you all. Gradually, the center cannot hold. Things are falling apart. Citizens can't sleep with their eyes closed. Citizens are taking the law into their own hands. What a country we're living in. My deepest condolence to Captain Mahama's family. The culprits must face the full rigors of the law. And in fact, this is one of the things that I don't like about my party NDC. This tragic and mournful case at Denchira hasn't taken much days, yet my MP is prematurely politicized in this case. Sometimes I feel often my TV putting it off to avoid such uncalled for discussion with this MP. Well, I hope you are not picking on Honorable Mutawakilo, but Ghanaians always behave the same with every case that shows up. I have a great feeling that one day this case about the captain will be forgotten and left in a mystery. I'm pleading to the authorities to really make sure justice has been served for this poor soul. I feel sorry for his wife and especially his little boy. I feel distressed when I saw their photo. This is a very star story. I'm a Mensa George from Obuasi. The DCE must be fired. And I'm also pleading to the President Anado that he and his government promised us that they will provide security. I may ask, are we secure? Nanado must sit up. And NPP should stop politics and deal with the issues as it is. For Ghanaians that didn't vote for you to come and compare ourselves with the NDC and argue unnecessarily. Dennis from Bedema. And where is Ghana going to with all this politics? Is Ghana for the NPP and NYC No, I don't think so. There is a man dead, and instead of them to think of the right way to solve these problems going on in our country, you're blaming parties. How sad. Good morning, dear panel members. I really like this show. My say is that Ms. Mahama issue is that all Ghanaians must be educated on this instant justice without reasonable proof. As Alaji said, from Chumesi Abrima. And Tony from Mashaleboche says, the NDC MP in your studio is missing the whole point. This sad event can only be viewed without any political color. It's a huge loss for the family and the nation as a whole. Rest in peace, Captain Mahama. Right, that's about it. Interesting. So people believe we must not politicize the whole conversation.
But the politicization comes... It's a warning to ensure that the right thing is done.
Right.
Yes,
I think of you now.
Yeah, because
okay, Johnny, we're grateful.
If the DC already is saying that forgive him, who knows the next thing? I thought that
your party
once
people say
the
that
president
they don't like your
said they will take a swift action, it should have started with the DC. But if we don't take time, come months, we'll come back here, and then what I'm saying today, we'll come to realize, see how it happened. It needed to take action now.
Your party people say, stop saying
they
this.
are not. I don't know whether they are my party people.
They just said, but that's what they said.
No, what I'm saying, I don't know what my party...
You don't believe the viewers.
No,
that's what
they are
viewers.
They are afraid they are viewers.
Don't say that. So stop saying it.
That is the point I see should
happen.
happen.
You're speaking for them. They are telling you how
I'm
they
not
want you to
speaking
speak.
for them. I'm speaking for Ghanaians. They had their messages
NDC says don't politicize the matter.
It's not NDC.
They're saying it in the text.
It's not
I read
NDC.
it. But honorable, you see, on this matter, you see,
on
the bond, you see how the goalpost is now shifting. Now we are being treated to some voodoo calculation in economics. Now it is about 16% and 19%, and now it's about willfully causing financial loss. It's about is it a domestic bond or is it international bond?
Is that the other issues they raised earlier are with other institutions?
What issue? When this matter broke, what was said was that there are underhand dealings, there is insider trading, there is conflict of interest.
According to what he said.
And that Mr. Kenoforiata arranged the deal to benefit himself and his cronies. That was what this was about. Now the embarrassment is beginning to come small. They have to go fishing. And so they are looking into the books and doing some voodoo calculations and economic masturbation and getting figures and saying that they are going to make a saving. These are all incorrect. They have what the ranking member said are falsehood, pure fabrications. His calculations are wrong. But I'm saying that when the finance minister appears before Parliament, is the day they will be better. I expect that day they should show TV3 show the finance minister's appearance live. So Ghanaians can see the embarrassment and disgrace that the NDC will suffer.
Should they have saved all of us this by just from the beginning letting out all the information that
all the information is out.
So it's already
there's
there.
A calendar. Okay. There's a bond issue calendar.
Okay.
I'm saying that I am reliably informed that this bond is cited on the calendar. I don't trade in the bonds. Honorable Danda does, honorable. So he may not know. But the people who trade on the bonds know that the
information they're asking
was there. Now they have talked about, but you gave just one day. This is standard practice in the industry because the thing had been put on the calendar long ago. If you check from the book handlers they are called and the Bank of Ghana and all that, every information that ought to have been put out was put out. Now they are talking about conflict of interest that Mr. Kenoforiata used to work with somebody who used to work with somebody who is now working with Franklin Templeton. So by necessary implication and by extrapolation, Mr. Kenoforiata is involved. Is Mr. Kenoforiata working with Franklin Templeton? No. Is he working there? No. He's not working there. Has he ever worked there? No. They are saying that somebody used to work in Kenoforiata's company who also is now working or used to work with Franklin Templeton. So if somebody leaves TV3 now and comes to join me in the ministry, so TV3 can no longer do business with my ministry because by implication, that person who has moved from TV3 and has come to Ministry of Youth and Sports is now a link between TV3, and so there is necessarily conflict of interest. I am disappointed.
He said he's disappointed.
This is the level of opposition that we are
let me take him through something.
Alternative government.
Said, this person owes this and this. When you take what we call the beneficial ownership of companies,
yes,
we have what we call PEPs, politically exposed persons. Politically exposed persons.
Yes.
And it says that you must disclose. So if my brother is registering a company or dealing business, he must disclose that his brother is the member of parliament for Damango. Because I can use him through my power to pass a lot of things through. So we call it politically exposed persons. We passed a company, we amended the Company Act. That is what we are talking, and that is conflict of interest. And if you go to, if you want, let me give you an example. One of the main sources of corruption, and it happened between 2000 and 2012 in Nigeria, what we call the briefcase companies. Briefcase companies is as a result of politically exposed persons. You set up a company, ask one of your relatives to be there. Because you are in the political arena, use it to get lucrative contracts to that company.
Is that what has happened?
That is conflict of interest. No, I just want to, once you mention that, no, I want to open you up because you said, because he has this person and that person is in that company. It falls under political exposed. Let me finish.
This arrangement.
Mas, allow him to finish. We have hit the top of the hour.
Yeah, but
allow him to finish.
No, if I allow him to finish and you are saying we have hit that means I won't rebut. But I'm saying that, but I'm saying that you see, the way the thing has been done very competently, the NDC is surprised. Hey, could this have happened? So they are sitting down and thinking, hey, there should have been something happening. This is just pure competence. No. It's just pure competence.
I just want to run out. He said there was a timetable. Please.
It's a calendar.
An international bond.
There is nothing like that?
If it is an international bond, irrespective of the timetable, you need parliamentary.
It's a domestic bond. It's a domestic bond.
That is what I'm saying.
Gentlemen, I am grateful for
if it is paid in dollars, it's not a domestic bond. If it is paid in dollars, it's not a domestic bond.
Honorable Adams Mutawakilu is the Member of Parliament for the Damango constituency. Pius Enam Hadije is the Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports. Grateful for Thursday morning. Hope to see you some other time. Thanks so much for joining us. And of course, those of you who stayed out there to watch the show, we're grateful you stayed there too. Thanks so much.